Starting our Week 10 Defensive Line Must Starts, we head to the Cleveland Browns and talk about Miles Garrett's sidekick, Alex Wright. The Cleveland Browns defense relies heavily on its star edge rusher, and all while Garrett draws all the double teams, Alex Wright has been impressive over the last month of the season, ranking at the bottom of the top tier overall in defensive linemen, and in the process, hanging out in the top 12 of DL fantasy points in most formats. Wright has been on fire over his last 4 games. He's gone for 19 total tackles, 8 tackles for a loss, and 2 sacks over that span. And he has a great chance to keep this hot streak alive this week with a nicely ranked matchup against the New York Jets. The Jets have allowed a staggering 17 sacks over their last 4 contests, the second most in the NFL over that span, including a 9-sack matchup versus the Broncos back in Week 6. That means DL1 targets of opportunity will be plentiful. So if you want a player who is hot and facing one of the most vulnerable offensive lines in the league, start Alex Wright this week.
Moving to our second defensive line must start, we head to Pittsburgh to feature Steelers edge rusher Alex Highsmith. Highsmith faces the Los Angeles Chargers, whose offensive line just gave up 6 sacks last week to the Titans. They've ranked towards the bottom in protecting Justin Herbert and have now lost both starting offensive tackles for the season. We do need to note that Highsmith has been managing an ankle issue since Week 2, and like normal, he was limited in practice this week. And if for some crazy reason Highsmith were to be a late scratch, the third man up, Nick Herbig, has always been a reliable IDP option when he is out, posting massive sack and pressure numbers. His stats prove he's hot. Highsmith just had his best game of the season last week, filling the stat sheet with a monster line that included 2 sacks, 3 tackles for a loss, and a forced fumble. He now has 3.5 sacks over his last 4 games, showing he's recovering nicely at the perfect time. With the Chargers' protection in complete crisis, there should be more of that delivered this week, so make sure Highsmith is in your starting lineup if you got him.
And finally, completing our list of 3 DL1 must-starts, we have a rare play, a defensive tackle with high-end overall DL1 value, the Seahawks veteran, Leonard Williams. Williams has had a strong year as a Pro Bowl interior D lineman and has hung tough as an overall DL2 this season. And while he isn't grading out as elite this year, he is well above average and anchoring this defensive line, maintaining a reliable IDP floor. For the season, Williams is averaging roughly 4.5 total tackles per game and remains a constant threat for a big play. And we also know Williams previously went off in Week 4 against the Cardinals this season, recording 4 tackles, 1 for a loss, 1.5 sacks, and a pass defended. But the real hot news is the Week 10 rematch. Williams is a stud DL2 defensive lineman with a top 5 DL matchup this week against the Arizona Cardinals again. So with a hot matchup and his IDP consistency so far, Williams stands out as a strong DT1 defensive line target to start, and one who certainly has true overall DL1 upside at the same time. And that now wraps up our look at the 3 must-start defensive linemen that stand out this week. If this analysis helped you set your Week 10 IDP lineups, please hit that like button and be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and as always, good luck in your matchups this weekend.
They doubted us every step of the way, but we knew what we were capable of.